Greetings everyone, TJB Chris here, thanking you for watching and welcoming you to my SEPTANDY video. SEPTANDY, where creators all over, new and old, create all sorts of great content about their Tandy Radio Shack computers. And tonight I've got a bunch of content I'm going to add in the form of DeskMate Workgroup Companion. So here I have my Tandy 1000 RLX and my Tandy 4825SX all booted up and ready to go. Each are part of a two-machine serial network. Workgroup Companion supports Tandy Link adapters, 3COM+, 3+, and serial port connections. Since I don't have Tandy Link adapters or the 3COM 3+ software, we went with serial. And something that may seem backwards, the 4825SX is the client and the 1000 RLX is the server, and that's because the 4825SX has two serial ports, so I can demo both it being a network client and the host functionality. So this is DeskMate Workgroup Companion, as packaged. The box is a $150 product and replaces professional DeskMate. Actually, believe it or not, the host functionality and mail was in the original DeskMate for the Tandy 1000 and DeskMate 2 for the Tandy 1000, though it was removed from DeskMate 3, and I think maybe personal DeskMate as well, but definitely DeskMate 3, and made into an optional add-on, which you see here. And the add-on came with the usual assortment of bits in Radio Shack software, a little flyer extolling the virtues of developing for DeskMate, two 3.5-inch floppy disks, the software registration, change of address, and software version log card, and of course a rather thick-looking but not as useful as it may appear manual, and then a set of 5.25-inch diskettes also in this envelope. And just to give you a look here, this is the front of the box. And then on the back, we have all the virtues of Workgroup Companion extolled. So in this video, I'm going to go through using DeskMate Workgroup Companion, some of the basic functionality of the product, and I'm going to go through and show you some basics on how to set it up, but I will not do the tutorial of how to set it up in the video. Instead, I invite you to check out my GitHub, where I will have all sorts of great information about getting DeskMate Workgroup Companion installed, including some dummy files that I had to create and some instructions because I couldn't get Workgroup Companion as downloaded from the internet to install some files I needed. It kept insisting on drive A. And I installed it on the RLX as this workgroup server, so there will be more about the pitfalls of installing Workgroup Companion as we go. Again, I'm just going to touch on them here. Check out my GitHub and you'll see a basic document outlining the install steps. All of the software that I downloaded here was from TV Dog's Tandy 1000 archive, so that's where you'll want to go to get this software. So let's get to it. So you'll notice things are a little different tonight. Things are a little fancier. To film this video and really do it right, be able to get both machines, I had to step up my game a little bit. I wouldn't expect this kind of production for all of my videos. And this is my first time doing a video like this, so hopefully I don't do anything too crazy or stupid, but I thought this was a nice way to do it, and the DeskMate theme I thought was particularly relevant. So, what is DeskMate Workgroup Companion? Well, Workgroup Companion is just a set of, as they say, easy-to-use programs that, when installed with DeskMate on a network, let you link two or more computers to form a workgroup. And workgroup members share information and resources such as files, phone lists, calendars, and printers, send mail, and perform other group-oriented functions. The components of Workgroup Companion are Address Book and Calendar, which are enhanced versions of the existing DeskMate utilities. Central, which lets you log in and out and telephone messages. Forum, an application for carrying on conversations on various threads, much like modern online forums. Host, which allows your computer to perform specialized file-related functions and mail from remote locations. Also note that, as I mentioned before, Host was included with the original DeskMate and DeskMate 2 for the Tandy 1000. Mail, which allows you to send electronic mail messages. The Workgroup Setup program, which allows you to configure DeskMate Workgroup Companion. And an additional application I can't demo tonight, which is 3COM 3+, which lets you manage 3COM shares and printers from within DeskMate. There are also some additional accessories, such as an enhanced alarm function, an enhanced phone list, a talk application which allows you to chat with another machine directly, and a mail bridge to link Tandy and 3COM users, but again I can't demo that either. So let's get started with the demo, and to begin the demo I'm going to start on the 1000 RLX, and that's because I'm going to walk into the WGSETUP program. I'll do the same on the 4825. Yes, if It's warning me that when I make any changes, I may have to restart my machines. You'll notice on both screens that each machine has a client name, that the connection type is RS-232, and that I have various options set for serial port and network sessions and things like that. On the client side, which is the 4825SX, I do have a file server running, but I did not run a print or database server, and the name of the file server is the same as the client connection name. You'll also note that I've enabled the remote load option and notifications. We'll get to that later. On the RLX side, I have enabled the file server, a print server, though there is no printer, and the database server. The database server is the crux of the entire Workgroup Companion network, as it is the central storage point for shared calendars, shared address books, central, all of that stuff, and allows remote loading of applications from its system. You'll notice that the server's name is Workgroup. That's required for the database server. So, let's take a look at some of the applications. As I'm waiting for these to exit, I'll note that to set this up, and you'll notice this on my GitHub, after you run WGSETUP, you're going to want to go and add the Workgroup exe to your autoexec.bat. So first let's take a look at the shared calendar. The shared calendar allows you to use either old local DeskMate calendars, or it allows you to run a shared calendar that is central on the server side. In this case, that's on the 1000 RLX. Let's take a look and see what calendars we have available. And you can see here it already says shared.cal, and it's going to ask if I want to create a new calendar, open, or cancel. We're going to open, and I'm going to open my shared calendar. Alright, let's switch to a monthly display. And here we can see a bunch of events on the calendar here, so let's take a look and see what one of these all-day events is here. Oh, this is Rosh Hashanah. Alright, well, back to the monthly display here. We're here on the 23rd, and I'm going to create myself an event, so let's do that. And that event is going to be for 8:30, I'll do this 30 p.m. until 09:00 p.m. I'm going to scratch south, and we'll see if the alarm will work. And now on the calendar here, I have an additional event that I'm going to have to take care of. And now if I flip over to the RLX and run the calendar application, you will of course see the calendar here. And same prompt, we're going to open this. And here we go. It takes me right to today, and I can see that my event for the day is to scratch myself in about half an hour. And of course, if I go to the monthly event view, you can see that I have this event right here. And of course, if I create one here, the same thing will happen. And we'll refill my beer at 9:30. Now the great thing is, back on the 4825SX, I can update the display without actually having to do a whole lot. Where are you? There we go, update display. And this takes longer. Now you can see we have an event on the 24th, and that's going to be refill the beer. So tomorrow night at 9:30, I'll refill my beer. That's pretty much it for calendar. As you can see in the file menu, I can switch between local and shared, and I can print my calendars and do all the other normal things. I also have a yearly view here. But beyond that, the days in yellow are the days with events. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot here. Calendar does support a password option, and it does support merging of calendars. But I'm not going to get into that here. So let's go back to DeskMate, the DeskMate desktop, and see what else we have here. Let's take a look at Forum next. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go open up Forum, and you're going to see that I have different parent topics that I can have, and each of which can have a subtopic thread, very much like any online forum. And here you can see we have two main topics, HR Friday and Office Gossip. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into HR Friday, and I'm going to go into the forum down here on my other machine, and just leave it there. And you can see we have, so here on 9:15 it says that Lewis smells. So let's take a look at that thread. And very much like old school items, on the web, you kind of have your previous and grayed out next because there's only one item, and then the items list to take me back. So If I want to create a new reply, I can do so and say, I don't think he smells that bad. Actually, I kind of like it. And as I'm doing this, you'll notice a lot of these applications are different skins in the same theme. One side or many send something and the other side receive it, and it's really just skinned a little differently to go, to make it whatever it is. Like in this case, more open messaging versus mail versus central, but just a little commentary on that. Now let's flip over to the RLX and let's take a look at the office gossip thing, and you'll see that I now have gone to the wrong place. So we're going to go back to the topics. I'm going to HR Friday. And you can see that Lewis Smells now has a reply. And so I bought him deodorant, refuses to use it, and I don't think it's that bad. Well, let's go back to the action items here, and let's create ourselves a new topic. So I'm going to create an item here, and the subject is going to be office party. And I'm going to say, remember Friday's office party. Keep Bill away from the booze unless you want to see him table dance again. Love, TW Chris. And of course, we're just going to go back to items over here on the 4825. And we see our new items office party. And I'm not going to bother replying to this. You get the idea. Now, if there are more machines in here, of course, there would be more than just me talking to myself. But that's form. Okay, so let's take a look at Central next. And for this one, I'm actually going to leave the one machine onto the desktop and just take a message on the 4825, because this will demonstrate some of the other great functionality of DeskMate Workgroup Companion. Okay, so we have a couple of different messages here already. One from John Roach. Let's see what he has to say. Well, the RLX took this since 1993, and John came by. We're closing down the computer division, you're canceled. Well, I guess that speaks to the entire Tandy computer line. And most everything else, other than, they kept AntennaCraft for a while and some other bits. But, you're canceled. Oh no. Alright, well, you know what, that's fine. Well, while we were here, it turns out that someone came in for the Tandy 1000 RLX. And that caller is going to be Lonnie Falk. And I don't know what his number would have been down there in Louisville, but I'm just going to say that it's 800 FALSOFT. And of course, there we go. Company is Falsoft Inc. Of course, could have been the mayor's office if it was post Falsoft. He called. Stop criticizing PCM. And we're going to send this now. I'm going to flip over to the RLX before I send this, and now I'm going to send this. Now you can see on the RLX, I have a message flashing up here at F9. I'm going to pull down the menu, and I'm going to choose phone. And it's going to say, enter the central program to see your new message from Lonnie Falk. And so I will do that. And there it is. And yeah, stop criticizing PCM magazine. I can save the message, delete, I can call him back if there's a modem in the machine. I can do all sorts of great things like that. Or I can add it to a list. We're going to do none of those things. In addition, this also allows me to display an in and out board. Now, despite the fact that it makes it look like I can choose any one of these and pick their in and out status, you'll see that anytime this comes up, you only see the status for the Tandy RLX user. So I can call myself out. Buying buying more soda. Turn time. And there we go, I'm out till 2 p.m. Of course, I'm going to flip this back because I want to be in for everything else. I don't think it actually matters, I think it's just you can come in here and look. But anyway, that is it. So let's go back to the DeskMate desktop and go on to the next application. Okay, next up, we're going to take a look at the address book. I'm going to open this on both of these. And you'll see the RLX loads it quite a bit faster because it is not the client. You'll see in here I have two contacts. I have Lonnie Falk and I have Charles Tandy. And the phone numbers, both actually were the business phone numbers from way back in the day. Please don't call either of them. But let's just say I want to make a change to Mr. Falk here. And we'll just say, instead of saying that he died in 2006, I want to say that he published Scorecard, the University of Kentucky sports rag. Okay. And that's it. Okay, he published Scorecard, and that's going to be it. And now it's not entirely obvious, but to save that I can just go back out and do it. So now here, if I hit Control-U on the RLX, it now changes to also Scorecard. And this is just a pretty simple centralized configuration. You can also see here I have the choice of local and shared. So if I want to work on a local file that's not shared across the workgroup, say for my own contacts, my little black book, whatever you like, I can do that here just fine. There's not too much else to address really. It's just like the DeskMate address application. I can add to the list, I can add, delete, find, and I can update the screen here as I wish. Alright, so let's go back to the DeskMate desktop and look at the next component. Okay. Next we're going to take a look at mail. And again, for this demonstration, I'm going to leave the RLX at its desktop. And you can see here I already have some messages in play here, so I have a thread here of back and forth. And it says, glad you're here, but you ain't going to be the server. Apparently the Tandy 1000 RLX is talking a little smack. Back to the list of messages. And I'm going to create a new message actually to the RLX. And this is going to be to Tandy RLX. CC no one. The subject is going to be music. And it's going to be, please turn down the music in your office. Nobody else wants to hear the soundtrack to Final Fantasy VII. Oh, I gotta hit the shift key here. At 85 decibels. Okay, so then we're going to just send that message. Before I do, I'm going to flip over to the RLX so you can see what happens. And there we go. Another one of these great notifications. So I'm going to hit F9. And I'm going to choose mail, and it says, enter the mail program to see your new mail from Tandy 486. Well, let's go ahead and do that. You have new mail. Okay to retrieve it now? Please. Oh look, and that's the new one now. It may not be obvious with the highlight on it, but that is actually bold versus the other ones are not. So let's take a look at that. It says, please turn down the music in your office. Nobody else wants to hear the soundtrack to Final Fantasy VII at 85 decibels. So we're going to reply to that and say, fine, next time it'll be my collection of nasty country songs. Love, Tandy 1000 RLX. And we'll just send that mail. And now I'm in the mail application, so even though I'm in the mail application, the 4825SX will still get the notification telling me to enter the mail program to see my new mail. So to do this, I have to get the mail. And there it is, RE Music, and again, fine, next time it'll be my collection of nasty country songs. Well, that sounds entertaining. So let's go back to the list. And that's pretty much it for the mail program. You can have multiple recipients on here. You can also, and I'll do this one, I'll request a return receipt. I'll reply one more time on this just because I want the return receipt. So let's reply, and I'm going to say RE Music, confirm message was received. Sounds good to me. And we're just going to send that. And again, the RLX is going to pop up the notification bit and tell me to do this. Alright, back on the 4825, we've gotten the notification, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get mail. And I have the 4825 into focus here because you can see that it's sending the return receipt on the smaller screen. I can read the message here, and just for the sake of your own enjoyment, there it is on the RLX. And now if I flip back to the 4825 and I get my mail, it will pull down the read receipt for the message that was read by the 1000 RLX. And there it is, return receipt request. The message was retrieved. So that's mail. That's pretty much it. It's a pretty neat program. We're going to revisit mail a little bit later just because it does also interact with the host program. So let's take a look and see what's next. Back to the DeskMate desktop we go. Okay, we already took a look at host, and we already took a look at WGSETUP, and we took a look at address, calendar, forum, and central. So now, before we go into the host application, I want to take a look at two different additional things. So we're going to take a look at talk, and we're going to take a look at the workgroup application. And talk will allow me to send a message to, or engage in chat with any one person, or I can broadcast to all. So we're going to call Tandy 1000 RLX. And there we are. We have a message over here. Hey, Tandy 486 wants to talk to you. Enter the talk accessory to respond. Well, let's do that. Okay, and you can see we've got chat engaged, so I'm going to be able to say, what WTF do you want? And we're going to say, I want that report. It was due an hour ago. Sorry, I was too busy wasting time in the bathroom and avoiding work. Whatever, just get it to me now. Now. Not no. Now. Fine, you'll get it when you get it. I'm out. And then I'm going to hit escape. And you see both sides say that the conversation has ended. That's talk. Talk is pretty neat. I can also send a broadcast message, which I will do now from the 4825SX. We're going to broadcast all. And I'm going to say free beer in the conference room. We're going to send that. Now you can see both machines are displaying the notification. So what we're going to do is take a look at those messages. And you can see that both machines are displaying the same message. And if I had 6 or 8 or 10 more, they all would be. So free beer in the conference room according to the 486. Now let's take a look at the Workgroup accessory. Workgroup is great because you can view not only local files on your machine and send them to remote machines, you can view files on remote workstations and send them. And we're actually going to start with a little digression, and that is remload. The remload directory is over here on the 1000 RLX. And you can see that there are a few different accessories here. There's poker.pdm and there's sol.pdm. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into remote load, and I'm going to see the remote load is on, and the server here is Workgroup, and the directory is remload. So let's leave the Workgroup application, and let's run sol.pdm. This will take some time. And there we go, we have a solitaire game running. We have some funky video bits here. I don't know exactly why that is, but we have a solitaire game. I probably could do that. Oh, this can go up here. Oh, let's drag slower. And I have a 5, which can go into the 6. So that's solitaire. So let's go back into Workgroup Accessory and turn off remote load. This is the great thing about remote load, it's selective, so I can, even though it's enabled in the WGSETUP program, I can turn it off. Let's run sol.pdm again. Oh no, this isn't found. Let's search the entire system. Please insert the disk containing sol.pdm into any drive. So this is DeskMate running a program remotely off of another machine. And of course I could do it with poker, but I'm not going to. But back to the Workgroup accessory. Let's flip over to the RLX, shall we? Because on the 4825SX, I have a Tandy 486 share set up, and it's read-write. What I'm going to do here is browse that share. So over here on the RLX, I'm going to view Tandy 486. And I'm going to see that I have the system itself, and I have the temp directory shared. Oh, let's take a look there. Alright, you know what? Let's pull down WSFTP.log. All I have to do is highlight the file, hit enter on it, and where am I going to copy that? Well, I don't want to copy the C:\\dm302. I want to go to TMP. Oops. Now, if I go back to my local files, and I go into SMDM302, temp, WSFTP.log is in fact right there. So that's shipping a file from one machine to the other. The reverse is almost exactly the same. I can also create or delete additional shares. So one thing about this is if I go to unshare a directory, it's not going to ask first, it's just going to do it. The directory is now unshared. So one thing with the Workgroup Companion in general is it tends not to ask you before you do things. And so, if you just go and do something, it's just going to go do it. It's not going to ask, are you sure? It's not going to do anything else like that. It's just going to go and do it. Additionally, you can define local and remote printers, which of course over on the RLX, I'm going to get a different bit here. I can share and unshare printers and define them. I don't have any printers actually defined, but I can do it. And I can even say what type of printer it is and the name. Now you notice remote load is grayed out here, and that's because on WGSETUP, back when I first showed you that, remote load was disabled for this machine. Beyond that, there's really not much else that's really of interest here. You really can, shares are really the big thing here. You can add additional servers, and if you want, you could log it as a different machine. Change the machine's name essentially temporarily, manage your printers, and you can manage notifications here, which notifications of course are on. You've seen that with mail and the central application and talk and the like. Alright, let's check out the host. So host is an application, like I mentioned before, that was in the original Tandy 1000 DeskMate and DeskMate 2. Not to be confused with personal DeskMate 2, which looks more like DeskMate 3. That was since taken out along with mail. And host allows you to connect from a remote system. So before I can actually use host, I have to use telecom to set the serial port links up. This is something that the manual alludes to, but it doesn't actually outline that you have to go in here, run the steps, and execute them. So if you are the kind of person who needs explicit step-by-step instructions, that may not be obvious to you. But it's okay. It's obvious to me. And here we go, we have a terminal running. Now you just leave the terminal, quit telecom, don't save unless you really want to. Your port settings will stick even though you didn't save the terminal settings. Now let's start the host application. And here I have the choice between security on and security off. I'm going to choose on with the password of let me in. And here we are. The terminal screen is now ready to go. And I think I'm going to get that report done as Fletcher would, because I, like Fletcher, would like to go far. So now that we're on the road like Fletcher with our TRS-80 Model 100 that we got at the sale price of $3.99, let's make sure that report looks good, shall we? Alright, here's your report, butthead, revenue 0. And actually we'll just add here profit negative. Okay, and if I F8 out of here, that'll save that. And again, the host is already running on the 4825SX, so why don't we go right ahead and go to telecom. And we'll stat, and we go to 9600, 8-bit word, no parity, one-stop bit, X on, X off enabled. And let's go to terminal, shall we? And I'm going to hit enter a couple times and give it my super secret password of let me in. And remember that any file operations in the remote DeskMate menu, as you see it scroll by, will be on the machine we're dialing into, which in this case is not the 1000 RLX, it is the 4825SX. So the very first thing we're going to do is go into the directory menu, and we're going to change into ctemp. Now, because I don't have a backslash here, I can do /, and I can list the files there. Let's see what's there. Okay, I don't see any reports, but that's fine. Let's just go back to the main menu here. And before we do anything else, oops, I want to do that. Before we do that, I want to go check my mail and see if there are any other requirements from that butthead JT. So I'm going to go to MODEL 100, and I'm going to see if I have new mail. Read new mail. And there we are, from Tandy 486 report. I want to read that. I don't need that report tomorrow. I need it tonight. JT. Well, I guess we'll give that butthead his report. We're going to save this, and we're going to save it to Model 100. And the mail's been saved. Now, the interesting thing about this is I could change to another mailbox if I want, or even if it doesn't exist, just like the old DeskMate 1 and DeskMate 2 situation, I can change to whichever mailbox I want. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to quit back to the menu, and we're going to send a file to the host. So what we're going to do here is we're going to send. We're going to transfer using ASCII. Call it report.doc. And now we're going to send the file. File to upload, report.do. And the width is going to be 80. And now it's done. So I'm just going to hit Control C to terminate the transfer. And now the file should be there. So you know what? Let's tell that butthead that his message is there. And this mailbox name is going to be Model 100. That's the person I'm sending from. And I'm going to send mail to. And we're going to send it to Tandy 486. And CC no one. And the subject is report. And I can't type, but whatever. And I sent it. Butthead. It's report.doc. And just like it says, I'm going to hit enter 3 times. Our mail has been sent. And that's the mail menu. You can read mail, you can send mail, you can change the mailbox. It's pretty simple. The only other major function of this is the calendar. And I'm going to open shared.cal, which is the workgroup calendar. And one scrolled off, but one allows us to view today's current events. So let's see what today's events were or are. And at 8:30, we have to scratch our oneself. Oh, that's great. I can also add an event. And the date's going to be 9/30/2021. And the start time is going to be PM. And it's going to be 09. I don't even know it's going to take these times like this. PM. And the description is going to be go to sleep. And the event was successfully stored. And I can delete an event, I can open a different calendar, I can choose a different calendar file, or I can quit and return to DeskMate, which is what we're going to do. And that's really the gist of this. I mean, I can also read a file from the other end, but I don't really care to. And the automatic mail transfer will pull all the mail down if I want it to. But that's really the host and client side, so let's sign off of this and see if our mail arrived and the report showed up on the 4825SX. Alright, back at the 4825SX. Let's see if we got a reply to our request for that report. Well, we do have mail. And I see Fletcher was probably drunk when she wrote that, but no big deal. I sent it butthead, it's report.doc. So let's go find report.doc. Now it's not going to be this one because I actually saved it in C:\temp. So what we're going to do here is go to text, open it, and look in the temp directory. Not too far. And there it is, report.doc. Here's your report, butthead, revenue 0, profit negative, love Fletcher. And there it is. So he got the report, he got the mail saying he got the report, and that pretty much does it. There are a couple of additional things. The phone list and address book have also been modified to be centrally shared. And you can see that the phone list just comes right from the address book. We already talked about address. So the phone list has also been modified to pull names and addresses from the address book, and I can do a local or shared. And that's really it. That's DeskMate Workgroup Companion. There's really not much else to this. I mean, there is at the 3+ application, which I can't really run other than to show you it does not run. But you can get an idea from the error screen here and what's behind it, what it would allow you to do with shared directories and printers and servers and things like that. So that's DeskMate Workgroup Companion. I really hope you enjoyed this. I know this was done a little differently and there's a lot of static shot in it, but I thought this would be a great way to celebrate SEPTANDY. As I noted before, you should use, if you try to replicate this, you should use DeskMate 3.02 and the DeskMate Workgroup Companion files from TVDog's website. In addition, I'll have on my GitHub some files and instructions for getting the server side of Workgroup Companion to work without error, since you'll probably have these files and they won't be on a floppy disk. So until next time, thank you for watching, happy SEPTANDY, and stay classy.